Malaysia sends clear message denying recognition of Israel as a country. KKDW allocates 255 million ringgit for rubber smallholders affected by monsoon. Good evening and Salam Malaysia Madani. You're watching Malaysia Tonight with me, Muhammad Amin Carlos. Now, the Malaysian government has decided to no longer accept ships with the Israeli flag to dock in the country with immediate effect. The Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, said the government has also imposed a ban on any ship en route to Israel from loading cargo at Malaysian ports. Now, these restrictions, he said, are a response to Israel's actions that ignore basic humanitarian principles and violate international law through continuous massacres and atrocities against the Palestinians. Now, in a statement today, he said the government is confident that the decisions will not affect Malaysian trade activities. In addition, Datuk Seri Anwar, who is also the Minister of Finance, said the government also decided to block and disallow the Israeli-based shipping company Zim from docking at any port in the country with immediate effect. Well, he said for the record, the cabinet began permitting ships owned by this company to dock in Malaysia in 2002. In 2005, the cabinet at that time granted permission for those ships to land in Malaysia. However, he said the current government has decided to revoke all previous cabinet decisions. Well, Malaysia's decision to restrict ships from an Israel shipping cargo company sends a clear message of its stand not to recognize Israel as a country, according to Fahmi Fadil. Now, the communications minister said the move also showed that Malaysia did not want to assist or play any role in terms of the economy that involved Israel.
Saya lihat ini adalah selari dan selaras dengan dasar kerajaan yang memberi penegasan tentang beberapa isu melibatkan Israel. Saya lihat tidak ada satu dari segi dasar kita konsisten, ya, dan komitmen kita kepada untuk memperjuangkan nasib rakyat Gaza itu yang antara menjadi keutamaan.
He said this when met by reporters after an event at the ministry in Putrajaya today. To a question, Fahmi said he did not foresee that the government's latest stand would have an effect on Malaysia's shipping and use of its ports. Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim had announced that ships from an Israeli shipping cargo company, as well as those en route to the country or those hoisting the country's flag, would be restricted from docking at Malaysian ports with immediate effect. The government, through the Rural and Regional Development Ministry of KKDW, has allocated 255 million ringgit to help ease the burden of rubber smallholders affected by this year's monsoon season. Well, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said the payments were disbursed by three agencies, namely the Rubber Industry Smallholders Development Authority, or RISDA, Sabah Rubber Industry Board, LIGS, and the Federal Land Development Authority, FELDA. Elaborating further, through a statement release, the Deputy Premier said so far a total of 311,596 applications have been received from the 318,750 individuals targeted to receive the aid. Well, he added that the 230,735 applications were by RISDA, while LIGS and FELDA have received 69,077 and 11,784 applications, respectively. Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid said as of this month, a total of 271,213 applications have been approved, with the applicants having received payments of 200 ringgit for November and December this year. He said the remaining payment will be credited to the recipient's account in January and February next year, making the total payment amount to 800 ringgit. Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid, who is also Rural and Regional Development Minister, said those eligible to receive the Bantuan Musim Tengkujuh, or BMT, through RISDA are smallholders with rubber plantations not exceeding 2.5 hectares. Coming up in our business segment, Tan Sri Abdul Rashid Hussain appointed as Sabang Haji or TH chairman today. Well, prominent businessman and founder of RHB Banking Group, Tan Sri Abdul Rashid Hussain, has been appointed as Tabung Haji or TH chairman effective today. Well, Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs, Dato' Muhammad Naim Mokhtar, in a statement today, said Tan Sri Abdul Rashid is taking over from Tan Sri Azman Mokhtar. Well, I said the prominent businessman's extensive corporate experience invaluable in continuing the excellence of TH as a world-class Hajj management institution. Now, Tan Sri Abdul Rashid, who is a member of the Board of Governors of the International Islamic University, has previously served as a board member and chairman of the Executive Committee of Khazanah Nasional Berhad, that's from 1994 to 1998, and Putrajaya Holdings chairman 1995 to the year 2000. He was awarded the Tokoh Maulidur Rasul Award at the federal territory level for the year 1445 Hijriah, or 2023, in recognition of his contributions to the country and society. Well, according to Dato' Muhammad Naim, Tan Sri Abdul Rashid was also among the 6 individuals appointed by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah, to serve on the Royal Commission of Inquiry, or RCI, for Tabung Haji. He also expressed his appreciation and gratitude to Tan Sri Azman for his dedicated service and outstanding leadership in heading the TH Board of Directors. Malaysia's economic momentum is expected to steadily improve heading into next year, with gross domestic product, or GDP, set to grow by 4.5% to 5.5% in 2024 from an estimated 4% this year. Well, according to RAM Rating Services Berhad, or RAM Ratings, now through a statement release, said the economy is benefiting from a potential turnaround in external demand. Well, it said resilient domestic demand supported by benign inflation and interest rates would also propel growth momentum. On the fiscal side, RAM Ratings estimated fiscal deficit to clock in at 4.2% of GDP in 2024, reflecting the fiscal consolidation path of the government. It noted that the narrower deficit, down from an estimated 5% this year, would mainly be driven by a lower subsidy bill, better management of other operating expenditures, and higher tax revenue collections from an upside in economic conditions next year. RAM Ratings said risks on the horizon for Malaysia's growth will hinge largely on the global economy successfully achieving a soft landing and avoiding further escalation of geopolitical conflicts. Well, it said a spike in global food and commodity prices could pressure domestic demand, as would an unintended price ripple effects if the retargeting of RON 95 subsidies were poorly executed. Petroleum Nasional Berhad, or Petronas, has released its 2024 to 2026 activity outlook, outlining forecasted activities which call for greater collaboration with the oil and gas service and equipment, or OGSE, providers to ensure energy demand is met while ramping up its clean energy initiatives. And within the next 3 years, the national oil firm is committed to its long-term target of sustaining and growing Malaysia's oil and gas production in anticipation of opening opportunities for the OGSE providers across exploration, development, production and decommissioning activities. It will also carry out an average of about 300 facilities improvement plans, or FIPS, annually for the next 3 years to maximize production efficiency and sustainability of oil and gas supplies. Now, Petronas said these include rejuvenation projects, gas turbine and gas generator change-out activities, as well as other major maintenance works, which are crucial in eliminating bottlenecks, maximizing hub capacity, and curbing flaring activities at new onshore facilities. It added that decommissioning activities would also be carried out for some 150 matured assets to restore the area to a safe and environmentally stable condition, while disused assets will be assessed for potentially reuse or repurposing. The Selangor Zakat Board, LZS, collected 791 million ringgit in Zakat, or tithes, from January to November this year from 328,000 individual payers and corporate companies. The Chief Executive Officer Muhammad Sabirin Muhammad Sarbini said the biggest contribution was from business tithes at 116 million ringgit, and the target was 167 million ringgit. Muhammad Sabirin said business tithe contributors comprise small street vendors, private limited companies, government-linked companies, as well as online traders.
Berdasarkan anggaran umum kami dan juga sedikit daripada usaha-usaha yang telah dilaksanakan sebelum ini, kami sangat optimis InsyaAllah kami akan mendapatkan sasaran dalam 167 juta tersebut. Walau bagaimanapun kami akan meneruskan usaha untuk mencapai lebih daripada jumlah tersebut. Dilihat daripada segi jenis perusahaan tersebut, ia bermula daripada yang sekecil-kecil penjaja tepi jalan pun ada buat bayaran zakat, sehingga kepada enterprise, pemilikan perseorangan, kepada Sdn Berhad, kepada GLC dan sehingga public listed company pun ada. Jadi
He said this to reporters after attending the 2023 Muzaki Recognition or Iktiraf and Tithe Presentation Ceremony today. Also present was LZS Chairman Tan Sri Said Anwar Jamalulail. Last year, according to Muhammad Sabirin, business tithe contributed a total of 166 million ringgit. Earlier, LZS received business tithes amounting to 19.6 million ringgit from 35 companies. Well, Bursa Malaysia ceded earlier gains to finish in the negative territory today due to profit-taking activities in the late trading session, ending its 7-day winning streak. At 5 p.m., the FTSE Bursa Malaysia KLCI or FBM KLCI dipped 1.11 points to 1,464.56 from yesterday's close of 1,465.67. Now, in the broader market, losers surpassed gainers 465 to 411, while 491 counters were unchanged, 950 untraded, and 23 others suspended. Well, turnover rose to 3.84 billion units worth 2.67 billion ringgit from 3.72 billion units worth 2.42 billion ringgit yesterday. Rakuten Trade Equity Research Vice President Thong Pak Leng said the key regional indices closed mixed but was mostly higher earlier, buoyed by the upbeat Wall Street overnight, and the Bank of Japan's decision to keep its interest rate on hold is expected to lend support to Japanese stocks. On the local front, Thong said the FBM KLCI failed to hold above the crucial 1,465 resistance line. Among the heavyweights, Petronas Chemicals increased 9 cent to 7 ringgit 18 cent. Maybank slid 1 cent to 8 ringgit 97 cent. Public Bank went down 2 cent to 4 ringgit 32 cent. CIMB lost 6 cent to 5 ringgit 90 cent, while Tenaga Nasional was flat at 10 ringgit. Of the actives, TWL Holdings inched up half a cent to 3.5 cent. Jati Tinggi added 4 cent to 31 cent. Liform rose 2 cent to 41 cent. Top Glove fell 3.5 cent to 90.5 cent, and CarePlus dropped 2.5 cent to 44 cent. Well, short-term interbank rates closed steady today on Bank Negara Malaysia or BNM operations to absorb surplus liquidity from the financial system. Now, liquidity in the conventional system eased to 40.92 billion ringgit from 41.44 billion ringgit this morning, while liquidity in Islamic funds decreased to 27.37 billion ringgit from 31.40 billion ringgit previously. Well, earlier, the central bank called for 2 conventional money market tenders, 2 reverse repo tenders, and 1 Bank Negara Interbank Bills Islamic or BNIBI tender. It also announced the availability of reverse repo, sale and buyback agreements and collateralized commodity murabaha facilities for tenors of 1 to 3 months. At 4 p.m., BNM called for a 40.90 billion ringgit conventional money market tender and a 27.40 billion ringgit murabaha money tender, both for one-day money. Now, the Malaysia Islamic overnight rate or MYORI stood at 3% as of 19th December. Top Glove Corporation Berhad hopes to turn around by the end of the 2024 financial year. And its managing director, Lim Cheong Guan, said that based on what the company observed, the trend appears to be moving in a positive direction. Well, commenting further on the matter, Lim said there's an improvement in demand and cost structure, while in terms of cost efficiency, it has become lighter as the organization has found ways to reduce or optimize its costs. Regarding dividends, he said the company's policy remains unchanged as they still adhere to a 50% payout in terms of their dividend policy, and their cash flow strength is on the rise, aligning with the company's improving profit position. Lim further noted that the anticipated growth in sales volume is attributed to a consistent upward trend driven by robust sales orders in recent months. Well, he said the company's net cash position continues to improve even in the face of a loss situation, aligning with its commitment to enhancing profit margins above variable costs. He added that the company also maintained an unwavering dedication to their sustainability journey as they work towards achieving their net zero carbon goals and is committed to complying with the new European Union Deforestation Regulation, EUDR. Hong Kong Investment Bank, HLIB Berhad, has upgraded its rating on the construction sector from neutral to overweight going into 2024 in anticipation of more large ticket contracts to be announced next year. So in a note today, the bank said the projection will be driven by freeing public project pipeline bottlenecks, incremental fiscal space from subsidy reforms and calmer politics. The bank said they see a potential for higher contract awards beyond the current levels of about 20 billion ringgit. Now, based on budget 2024, the government intends to roll out several big-ticket projects like Pan Borneo Sabah Phase 1B of 15.7 billion ringgit, flood mitigation packages worth 11.8 billion ringgit, Pulau Pinang 10 billion ringgit, Sabah Sarawak Link Road 7.4 billion ringgit, and LRT3 reinstatement of 4.7 billion ringgit. HLIB noted that 2023 infrastructure project rollouts were largely below expectations, as some failed to materialize in part to the budget being retabled in mid-year state elections. According to the bank, the appointment of Finance Minister too should start debottlenecking the project pipeline, while the ongoing subsidy rationalization will incrementally lift fiscal space with potential savings being repurposed for infrastructure projects over the longer term. As the Vietnamese economy still faces headwinds, the World Bank has suggested the country extend the implementation of the Economic Support Program 2022-2023 into next year to fully implement its planned investments and support aggregate demand. Now, the suggestion was made in the newly released World Bank's Vietnam Macro Monitoring Report, according to Xinhua, quoting a Vietnam news agency report recently. Well, the bank said efforts to restore confidence and promote healthy development of the real estate markets will be key to supporting economic stability in Vietnam in the short term and economic growth in the long run. Now, according to the report, despite global uncertainties, cumulative foreign direct investment commitment in Vietnam in the first 11 months of 2023 continued to increase, reaching $28.8 billion, 14.8% higher than the same period in 2022. Well, the bank noted that the figure has reflected investors' confidence in Vietnam's economic prospects. Now, the bank's earlier forecast projected Vietnam's economy to grow 4.7% in 2023, 5.5% in 2024, and 6% in 2025. Toyota subsidiary Daihatsu said on Wednesday it will suspend shipments of all car models currently in production both in Japan and abroad following new revelations about its rigging of safety tests. Now, this came after a report by an independent panel set up earlier this year to probe a safety scandal that first emerged in April. Now, Toyota said the investigation, quote, found new irregularities in 174 items within 25 test categories, unquote, in addition to wrongdoing previously detected in April and May involving door parts inside collision tests. Now, the number of car models linked to wrongdoing now totaled 64, including 22 sold by Toyota. Japan's Transport Ministry will conduct an on-site inspection of Daihatsu on Thursday. In a summary of its report published Wednesday, the independent panel blamed Daihatsu's misconduct on factors including, quote, extreme pressure due to an excessively tight and rigid development schedule, unquote, and the manager's lack of expertise. In April, Daihatsu admitted falsifying crash test results for 4 of its models involving a total of 88,000 vehicles manufactured in Thailand and Malaysia in 2022 and 2023. Ailing Japanese electronics and machinery giant Toshiba Corporation was delisted from Japan's stock exchanges today, ending its 74-year history as a publicly traded company. Now, Toshiba will now aim for reconstruction under a new management team, including officials from a consortium led by investment firm Japan Industrial Partners Incorporated that bought Toshiba. Now, a media outlet reported the new management team will seek to relist Toshiba's stock in about 5 years. Toshiba, which will celebrate the 150th anniversary of its founding in 2025, has been mired in management turmoil in recent years. Its brand image was damaged by an accounting scandal in 2015, and the collapse of its U.S. nuclear plant subsidiary dealt a further blow in 2017. Now, to rebuild its financial base, Toshiba received investment from a foreign activist investment fund, but this led to further turmoil. The JIP-led consortium then launched a tender offer for Toshiba in August this year, and the offer was successfully completed the following month. In November, the procedures necessary to take Toshiba private were approved and an extraordinary meeting of Toshiba shareholders. Toshiba aims to increase its corporate value by developing the data service business into a revenue pillar, in addition to its mainstay infrastructure business, including nuclear plant operations. Well, still to come in our foreign front, China post-earthquake focus on relief efforts. Well, authorities in China's Gansu province said on Wednesday that the focus of disaster relief efforts would shift to treating the wounded and resettling residents as most rescue operations came to an end. Now, as a months-long winter loomed, many of those who survived the magnitude 6.2 earthquake face months of uncertainty ahead without permanent shelter. Now, the earthquake jolted Jishishan County near the border straddling Gansu and Qinghai provinces a minute before midnight on Monday, sending frightened residents out of homes into the cold in the dead of night, damaging roads, power and water lines, as well as agricultural production facilities, and triggering land and mudslides that buried entire villages. In Gansu, 113 people had been found dead as of Wednesday, and 782 were injured. The death toll in neighboring Qinghai province rose to 18, with 198 injured. Recovery from Monday night's earthquake was further challenged by the powerful cold snap that gripped most of China since last week. Temperatures around the quake epicenter in Gansu fell to about minus 15 degrees Celsius on Tuesday night. Well, Thailand's thwarted election winner, Peter Limjaroenrat, said Wednesday he had no concerns as he prepared to give evidence in a court case that could see him barred from politics. Well, the Constitutional Court is considering whether the former leader of the Move Forward Party, or MFP, broke rules banning members of parliament from owning shares in media companies. Now, the 43-year-old has insisted he will run for office again, but if the court rules against him, he could be disqualified from parliament altogether. MFP won the most seats in Thailand's May general election, but Pita was blocked from becoming prime minister by conservative forces opposed to his reform agenda. The case revolves around shares in the long-defunct TV television station, which Pita says he inherited from his father when he died. MFP wrote support from young and urban Thais, weary of a near decade of military rule, to secure a shock election victory in May, beating the Pheu Thai party of veteran political playmaker Thaksin Shinawatra into second place. But MFP's pledges to reform Thailand's strict royal insult laws, as well as plans to break up business monopolies and take on the military's influence in politics, spooked the kingdom's powerful elite. Now, Pita was blocked by senators appointed by the last junta from becoming prime minister, and Pheu Thai formed a coalition that included pro-military parties but shut MFP out of government. Pita stepped down as party leader in September. New Zealand's new Prime Minister, Christopher Luxon, met with his Australian counterpart, Anthony Albanese, in Sydney on Wednesday, where he said he would look into the benefits of joining a part of the AUKUS Defence Pact. Now, Luxon, who was sworn in as Prime Minister last month, said the AUKUS weapons development and procurement project between the US, Britain and Australia would help ensure peace and stability in the Pacific region.
Our common values that we have as nations mean that there are great opportunities for us to work together on closer economic ties, closer social ties, and working together in the international community to meet our common objectives. Australia and New Zealand will continue to support Pacific priorities, working together to respond to our region's shared challenges. And that includes, of course, very importantly, our action dealing with climate change.
He also reiterated New Zealand's nuclear-free stance, which he said was non-negotiable. New Zealand and the US described themselves as close strategic partners, although their alliance was suspended in the 1980s when New Zealand barred visits from US nuclear-powered or armed warships. Albanese said he had a long working relationship with Luxon, and Australia would continue to deepen its trade and economic ties with New Zealand and work together to respond to shared challenges, including climate change. Thomas Müller's contract in Bayern Munich extended to 2025. That and more coming up. Manchester City outclassed Urawa Red Diamonds in a 3-0 victory in the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium to set up a Club World Cup final showdown against Brazilian side Fluminense. European champion City were frustrated by a veteran Bayern Munich attacker Thomas Müller has extended his deal by 1 year to 2025. Now, the Bavarian club announced this on Tuesday, and his contract was set to expire at the end of this season. Despite wearing the captain's armband several times this season, the 34-year-old has received less game time under coach Thomas Tuchel, enjoying just 5 league starts. Müller has become synonymous with the Bavarian Giants and has been at Bayern for more than 2 decades, having joined as a 10-year-old in 2000 from village club TSV Pale. A 2-time Champions League winner, Müller has won 12 Bundesliga titles with Bayern in a career spanning 684 games, scoring 237 goals and providing 261 assists. In November, Müller's captain and longtime teammate Manuel Neuer, 37, also extended his deal by a season to 2025. Well, that concludes this evening's edition of Malaysia Tonight. And our top story, Malaysia sends clear message denying recognition of Israel as a country. Do tune into World Today coming up tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. on TV2. You can also stream it via the application RTM Click. Till then, I'm Mohammed Amin Carlos, and from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thanks for watching.